Welcome to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California pariah, Jonathan Charney. Rob, the old guy.
What? I'm out of sequence. Yes, from the world famous Rob Charney show.
And James, the fat man Stevens.
Hello.
And I don't remember if we brought this up, but one of the greatest comedians I would probably say of the last half century passed away would be Gilbert Gottfried. Now, apparently he did die of some sort of heart condition. It was a genetic issue, if I remember the story correctly.
Yeah, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but I've heard of it before. And I can't think of the name of it.
A long medical name of basically having arrhythmia of the heart issues. And apparently he had been dealing with it for some time.
If I remember correctly, it said like the older you get, the harder it is to deal with. So which is...
It's a lot like life. The older I get, the harder it is to deal with.
And I have to say, in this world of social media, I love the fact that he didn't tell anybody. You didn't really know much about him, like his personal life. He went on an interview last year, the year before that, with Joe Rogan, and that's the most I've ever heard about his personal life. I thought that was really kind of cool that you just got to see the character he presented instead of the inside. I thought that kind of kept the magic alive.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, I mean, he'll be missed. He was definitely an interesting character. When the news first came out of his passing, there were a number of clips of him doing some pretty amazing, pretty fun skits. And it was, he did some roasts too, which he was very witty. And not only his voice very unique and his face very unique, but his whole shtick was very unique. So he'll be missed.
Yeah, he will. I liked him a lot. Even though he's a really dirty comedian.
Yeah, you talk about dirty comedians. There's a photo that went viral, like pretty much right after the news came about him passing away. It was with Bob Saget, Louis Anderson, and Gilbert Gottfried, all who passed away within like the last year and a half. All great comics by them in their own right. Bob Saget, I think, being the dirtiest of the bunch.
I guess that means comedy's dead now. Because Robin Williams is gone. Richard Pryor is gone. Now we've got, like you said, Louis Anderson and Gilbert Gottfried and Bob Saget. And I think comedy's dead. I think we can officially say comedy's dead.
I would say after Robin Williams, after Real Flicks Reviews did 2 months of Robin Williams movies, I just don't find shit as funny, especially his movies. That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did do quite a bit of stuff. On the Robin Williams thing?
Yeah, it was hard because he was an interesting actor because he did like the movie Awakenings, which was straight drama. Very, very heart-wrenching, in my opinion. Then he did like Good Morning Vietnam, which is all comedy. And he's a comedian. You don't see not only that range, but you don't see comedians getting that chance. Like, it seems like once you're a comedian, you're stuck.
Well, he passed. I mean, he was not just a comedian. I mean, I don't think yes, you look at the breakout for him was Mork and Mindy. And we've talked about this before, but he was more than, just a comedian. He was quite the actor as well. So.
Did he went to Juilliard, if I remember correctly?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Which
gives him some stroke to those who are into that.
Yeah. But anyway, with all and of course there's still plenty of comedians out there, but gosh, the majors that I knew and enjoyed in my era type of people, they're all gone. Everybody's gone.
Yeah, and there'll never be anybody again like Gilbert Gottfried, Don Rickles. That they're the end of they're basically the end of that style of comedy, at least in today's world.
Yeah. So let's see if we can just figure out what state this happened in. So
Florida.
A teen boy at 16 years old was shot to death while testing out body armor by another teen.
Oh, Lord.
So can you guess what state this was?
California.
No, you're right the first time.
Oh, I guess it's one of the two.
So these three teenagers went out and bought a bulletproof vest and then decided to test it out. Can you guess what happened?
Well, you already told us he died.
What? Wait, what did like question?
Let's
What firearm did the kid use?
You know, it doesn't say in the article. But even a handgun after a few shots in a bulletproof vest, it's not going to work as well.
So multiple rounds were fired then.
Oh yeah, they took turns.
They took turns. Oh, so
I think I saw this movie. It's called Deer Hunter. Why would you voluntarily do that?
These guys weren't AP students, were they?
I don't know. They skipped class and
There you
were
go. That answers
at
that.
the house and were shooting each other. Yeah.
So a couple of different questions is: were these kids? Have they been around firearms? Was this just a firearm they found in their dad's dresser drawer? There's some lack of logic here.
I
We'll
don't
have to
know.
look up.
And so they videotaped it as well, which, you know, they were saying that it was an accident at first, but then the officers located their phones and found out that they were videotaping this.
Mm-hmm.
And so they knew what happened, and they've arrested the other two that were involved. Yeah. And
Do
just
we
like,
know if,
Don't
was
you have
this
to-
an actual was this an actual vest penetration, or was this blunt
It
force trauma,
doesn't
or
say in the article.
So
it
the
just
article-
says-
terrible article? Whoever
yeah, I think
wrote
it's
it,
because it was involving an underage person is why they're not releasing
minor.
very much.
yeah.
But
It'll be interesting to
yeah.
find out more. Yeah, if we can find out more about it, we can get in a little more in depth on that if we really want to. But it's tragic, and I'd like to know more. But
See,
yeah, I understand.
I thought for some reason there was an age limit. But according to this,
Stupidity. No, there is.
Florida
no
has a law in place that makes it illegal to wear body armor during the commission of a crime, and thus does not affect body armor retailers in Florida. Any civilian can purchase and use a bulletproof vest unless the adult has been convicted of a felony. Bulletproof vests and other body armor can be purchased online or face-to-face. For some reason, I thought there was an age limit attached to that.
No. So anyway, no, I didn't hear about that, and I'm sorry to hear it.
Yeah, I'm just like, it always seems like it's Florida or us.
Or California, yeah, one or the other,
You
right?
know?
Or New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just pulled up a different article to see if it shows anymore, because this happened in the beginning of April.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing if they released more detail.
Probably
now
not.
A few days.
Yeah, well, probably not, which is
Or a few
okay.
weeks.
If they release any,
Oh, so one of them posted bond of $30,000.
how old were these? I'm assuming they're teenagers, but they're under 18.
It was, well, this one says 15. The first one I just read was 16.
Now, these,
The kid that died. So, and then the two that were arrested were 17 and 18.
okay, then you won't
That
hear.
18-year-old's gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll never hear any information besides the 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a while ago, but there's an update on 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the new Rob Zombie joint, The Munsters. If you pay attention to Rob Zombie's Instagram, he's been sharing photos of the people who are in it. Elvira's in it. It's kind of cool, actually, him talking about it and how it's actually going to be a comedy, not a horror. He's a true fan of the franchise. Rob Zombie is known to make rated R films. Most of his ventures have been some sort of gory and violent-filled thrill ride. He has also remade the Halloween series. A Monster reboot currently does not have a title release date that's been reported completed already. While we are all patiently waiting for the trailer, it's safe to say we will be gifted this film sometime in the fall. I'm excited about this. I loved The Munsters as a kid. I didn't like the movies that came out after the fact, but I loved The Munsters.
One of my favorites.
I was a Munsters fan, but I don't know. I'm curious to see what he does with it. I don't know. It's one of those I'm kind of holding my critiques to myself right now of it. I've seen some pictures of it. I don't know.
I'm excited. Actually, there was, I think, the movie with was it the Dragula? The Drag Coffin. I think that was a movie, or was that in the TV show? Because there was one movie of theirs I liked.
I don't know if I ever saw the movies.
There's I think there's one that came out later I didn't like, but let's see who's in it. See, Cheryl Moon as Lily Munster, Daniel Roebuck as Grandpa Munster, Jeff Daniel Phillips will take on the role of Herman Munster. This should be an exciting rehashing of one of the most beloved sitcoms in television history.
Yeah, it should be fun. Maybe if it's just straight fun, it'll turn out well. If he, I don't know, he's liable to take a different curve. It scares me a little bit,
I hope not, because we need fun.
I don't know. From what I've seen, he's gonna kind of keep it the way it was, but we'll see. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so, because I think we need fun. I think the last 2 years have sucked all the drama out of the room.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I'm looking at the Munsters movies. What? There's an untitled The Munsters reboot. Oh, okay, that's Rob Zombie's. Okay. I was looking at it, and that's a weird... This is on IMDb, and that's what they have it as. Untitled The Munsters Reboot. That's a weird thing. But The Munsters Revenge was 81. Here Come the Munsters, 95. The Munsters Scary Little Christmas, 96. I don't know if I didn't see any of those.
There was one where I think Herman was turned into a human. There was specific...
Oh, I might have seen that one. I thought that was on the show, though.
It might have been both. There was one that came out in like the late 90s, I thought, that I didn't like.
Huh.
I don't remember any of them. That's not saying much. I'm not good with movies. So.
Let's see. So, it's still stupid. This is from techdirt.com. It's still stupid, ridiculously difficult to buy a dumb TV. Historical smart TVs aren't always particularly smart. They've routinely been shown to have lack security and privacy standards. They also routinely feature embedded OS systems that don't age well, i.e. if you bought some of the earlier smart TVs via Verizon and can't access Netflix. Yet, when you go shopping for dumb televisions as just in high-quality displays with a bunch of HDMI ports and not much else, you're usually going to be out of luck. There are options, but the guides on this front usually shovel you towards computer monitors too pricey and at large sizes or business class displays, which are extremely expensive. This Hacker article ironically forgot to even list a few models that do exist.
Yeah, that was kind of really garbled, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Honest to God, John, I didn't understand anything you just said.
I swear I haven't been drinking. So let me try.
Dumb TVs. That was about all I got.
Let me try doing this again.
What's the gist of this article that you're trying to tell us?
So basically, they're saying that smart TVs are security problems on your network because they have lack security, they have no privacy standards, i.e. everything you watch can be shipped to the manufacturer or third parties. And the other thing is finding dumb TVs that are just high-resolution set-top boxes with no embedded operating system.
Yeah.
Or the other issue is a lot of these old smart TVs just don't work. My parents have a Blu-ray player. I bought them. The Netflix doesn't work on it anymore. And some of the older Vizio TVs, some of their features no longer work because of how Netflix changed their system. And they're saying a lot of people who just want a dumb TV, you can't find them. They're extremely expensive.
I've got one I'll sell for about $3,000.
I'm sure there's one up in our barn somewhere somebody's welcome to get, but it's not going to be 4K.
$5,000, Rob. Sell it for $5,000.
$5,000.
So the
dumb TV, get your dumb TV here.
And when it comes to
sir, it's not 4K. You don't even know what 4K means. No, ma'am. No, I'm sorry. It's straight black and white. There is no color adjustment. No, ma'am. Sorry, I can't help you with that. Sound. No, it just comes right out of that speaker. No, you can't hook it up to your system.
Honestly, that speaker probably sounds better than any of the speakers that come with modern TVs. When they started moving speakers to the back, that's why you started seeing the invention of sound bars, because it started affecting old people's hearing.
Yeah,
and I know this for a fact because I sold a number of sound bars to older people because they couldn't hear it. It sounded like the story I just read, all garbled.
Yeah, there you go. Things are supposedly a little better now, although my newest TV is probably 5 years old already, so I don't know. But I hear the sound's even better, so could be.
The best thing about smart TVs is how they interact. Like if you buy, the LG TVs with WebOS 4, the same OS that was invented by Palm, you can actually turn it on with like Alexa. So you can say, Alexa, turn on channel blah, 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 or input blah, 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 and it works like that. But I wouldn't mind just having a dumb TV because I use, I got a half a dozen smart boxes, those cable those Apple
right,
TV,
good
etc.
point. I mean, that's the same thing here. I don't use any of the smart features on my TV at all. I mean, I've got a separate receiver unit that feeds all the video through there. I've got, all the different things. I don't use it. I mean, I have Apple TV. Well, I don't use my LG TV smart stuff. And so it's like, it is getting redundant. You have all these things can do it. And I suppose at some point, it's okay, but I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say one.
The space tourist that went up to the ISS, the International Space Station.
The space tourist, yes.
Yeah, the SpaceX crew that went up there.
Yeah.
They launched 3 passengers and a former NASA astronaut up into orbit. And it looks like their mission is going to be extended for another 12 days.
Oh.
They were only supposed to go up there for 10 days, but now they're going to be up there for a total of 22.
Oh, no.
They're going to hate getting that bill.
Because what, James?
They can't get home yet.
They can't, because we can't launch in time to get you back. Gosh, isn't that something that all the astronauts have always faced? Oh, you're only supposed to be here for, a month, but guess what? 6 months.
Well, it was $55 million per person to go.
Right.
To go to the space station.
So is it like a hotel? Are they going to get, an extra? By the way, your extended stay is going to cost you this much more.
Did they get to keep the soaps?
Is there going to be enough food?
Don't drink any of those little liquor bottles.
Yeah. Yeah.
$55 million. That better be one hell of an experience for that much money.
I bet it is.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I bet it is. If I had that kind of
$55 million worth.
if I had that kind of money to burn, I would consider it. Other than the fact that I probably would get sick up there because of vertigo, but that's another story. But no, I would. But I want to know: did the article say if they're going to get charged more? I think that would be funny.
It did not.
And who charged them?
Why they went up there, right?
To do something. I don't know.
Because they're doing research to build their own space station.
Oh.
For private tourism.
Well, there you go.
So that brings up an interesting question.
So, as far as I'm concerned, they can sit up there and study more about it.
So with satellites, you don't need global approval. United States, Israel, whoever you are can launch a satellite. But if it comes to a space station, considering the mass is much larger, do you need more approval?
But who? Nobody.
Well,
no
if
one
it's
entity.
An international space station, yeah, I would assume so.
Like
no,
if Microsoft,
I don't think anybody.
like Microsoft launched a space station. Is it cool that Microsoft owns one?
I think so. I don't see any. How could there be a global entity that controls all of space? Right? Who does that? So
we do.
Sorry about that. No, I don't know. I don't think there's any entity that they'd have to get permission for. No more than Musk's Starlink. Popping hundreds and hundreds of satellites up there all the time, and he doesn't need anybody's approval.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Musk is routinely pissing people off, like the fans of Twitter. I don't know if we talked about this last week. Musk bought like 14% or 9 something percent of Twitter.
Yeah, we talked about it. Yeah, they're fighting back. There's
more news. Apparently, they want to activate a poison pill just to fend off Musk. I thought that was interesting. I think Musk is just happening to the world's most richest troll.
I don't understand with that kind of money. Why doesn't he just start his own? Twitter's such a bag of crap anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Start your own, make it better. You'll do fine. Who needs Twitter?
And I have never joined Twitter, and I never plan to.
See, I can tell you why. There's half a dozen clones, all conservative. Like I was on Getter for a bit, didn't get it. I think at this point, social media is just so aged in and hard baked. Like Twitter and Facebook are just what you use, along with Instagram. I think it's hard to make another one and have it actually work.
Yeah,
There's Donald Trump's one.
Who cares? But I think Musk, if he did it, I think people would go. And let's face it, Trump doesn't really know anything about it anyway. He hires some people, they do it, and they did a horrible job with it, and I'm sure it's already dead. And I bet if Musk did it, it would work. Just my opinion. I don't like Twitter anyway, so
he would probably get a lot of people over because it seems like with Musk, people either love him or hate him. Yeah, especially if you paid attention to the Twitter during with his announcement.
I think it's interesting, this poison pill thing that you were talking about, because I read up about it a little bit, and basically they're going to like split the stock, and they're going to try to do everything they can to keep it too expensive for him to take over a majority shares. And so it's kind of like he's probably sitting back laughing at these fools. You guys are, I could just see it. He's just going, do what you want.
If they split the stock, doesn't it double his shares?
Yeah, but he still doesn't increase his actual value. What it's trying to do is allow him to keep him from having to buy so many more shares. That's the whole idea.
I wonder if he's bought any more. Like, I don't know how that works. If you're like a billionaire and you buy like 13% of a company, do you have to report you did it? Or is it just because Musk pissed off the SEC?
Well, he did. I mean, he apparently bought more than he was without making an announcement of it. And there's a certain percentage that once you reach that percentage, you have to let them know that you've done that. And anyway, it's a technical thing. I don't really understand it either, 'cause I'll never be in that position. But it's kind of fun. So, all right, I got a test for you guys. All right, so here we go. And this list is a little bit long, and maybe I'll skip through a few of these. But these are names and the year they started. Okay, so
Melanie,
some of it might.
This is for you.
This is the Solisticals. Yeah. Okay. So, we'll start with the one that everybody knows, McDonald's. Any guess at all what year you think McDonald's started?
50. No.
1948.
I think it was the 50s, but for some reason I feel like it was a little bit before then.
Okay, 1940.
I was closest.
It started in 1940. So, yeah. So that's wow.
I must be thinking of it out then.
That may be on my list. I'll let you know when I get to it. Okay, so that a lot of these names. When I'm going to name a few of these, that you know the names, but it just amazes me how long they've been around. For instance, IKEA. Any idea when IKEA started?
No clue.
Okay, so I wouldn't get it either. 1943. Here's the one that really had me scratching my head because I kind of went, really? It's this old? How about Kia, the car brand Kia?
1835.
Yeah. No, I know, because at this point you're going, I'm going to throw out any number there. 1944. So right around the end of World War II, the car company actually started, which was kind of interesting. How about Mattel? 1945. That was like, really? I just, it's like, Iams dog food. That was the one that I thought for some reason started in the 1970s. They've been around since 1946. It's like, wow. Really? So how about this one? This one you see in the malls.
Now, are these companies that started in someone's garage or like KFC in the back of his car?
Sure. They all started.
Is that what they're counting?
Yeah, that's what they're counting. Basically, when the that name first came out and it was being used as a company name, you go to the malls like J. Crew, for instance. I thought that was a fairly new thing that popped up in malls around the country and all that. It was 1947.
Really?
And then like Toys R Us, which is kind of not really here, but is kind of here still now. But Toys R Us started in 1948.
I can see that based off the name.
Yeah, maybe so. Jack in the Box. All right, Jack in the Box. You know what? Jack in the Box actually started in 1951.
Wow.
The one that I thought started before this, sooner than this, was Holiday Inn. Any idea?
65.
Well, no, 1952. But I expected Holiday Inn to be like in the 30s. That really kind of surprised me. Burger King, 1954. Okay. And then here's another one that I kind of went, really? H&R Block. I thought H&R Block was a 70s thing. 1955. Pizza Hut, 1958.
I can see that, actually.
Okay. Domino's Pizza. Wild guess.
1960?
Very good. Right on the money, dude. 1960, Domino's Pizza.
Okay. Huh.
And that was an interesting look at for those of you out there. Look up Domino's Pizza and find out the story behind that. It's kind of interesting. I kind of laughed at that one, but I don't want to talk about that right now. Comcast. How about Comcast? Again, would have thought it was the 1970s, maybe the late 1960s, but actually 1963.
Were they always in cable? Or are they something else?
No, they shifted. They started out on different things. I believe Comcast even did things like they sold golf clubs and suspenders, and I think they were in Muzak for a while. Do you remember Muzak? All the music you used to hear in elevators and places like that. That was Muzak. Right. How about that old stuff?
The stuff you had to pay a license for.
Right. What year was Nike started? You know?
70s. No, 60s. Late 60s.
No, I'm thinking 50s or 40s.
Yeah, see, 1964.
Really?
Yeah, that surprised me too. Best Buy, John, your favorite store.
70s.
What year did Best Buy start?
70s would be my guess.
1966. 66, yeah. Southwest Airlines. This is the one that also got me. Really? I couldn't. 1967, and I don't remember Southwest Airlines until at least the early 80s. I kind of went, really? 67? They've been around.
So they must have been a regional carrier until at some point then just went national.
I guess so. Yeah, they might have been. I didn't go down that rabbit hole.
Probably in the Southwest.
Yeah. All right, you guys, you're gamers. When did Atari start?
Oh, the first Atari? 70s.
76. No, 74, I would say.
Close. 1972 for Atari.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What are... all right. So, yeah.
I got one for you.
Check this. Wait, check this. Wait, let me finish this list because this is the interesting one. We just talked about Atari 1972. All right. Tell me when Microsoft and Apple both started. When were they founded?
Oh.
That was 70s.
Well, think about this. So
I'm
Microsoft...
thinking of the garage because that's where he's talking about is when they started in their garage. Now, I don't know.
Okay, so Microsoft was 1975. Apple was 1976. What did I tell you Atari was? 1972. Atari actually started and came out before Microsoft and Apple.
And if I remember correctly, I think Woz did stuff for Atari, if I remember correctly.
I think at one point you may be right about that story, but I don't know. It just, some of this stuff was just...
So I got one for you real quick.
All right.
When was Nintendo founded?
Actually, I don't know, 1968.
James?
Wait, a Nintendo?
Yeah.
Founded?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I forget.
1889.
18 what?
Yeah.
1889.
1889. Oh, the name Nintendo. Yes.
No, right. Nintendo began in 1889, founded to produce handmade playing cards. So a gaming company even back then.
Huh. Yeah. Interesting. I remember reading something about that too. So, how about something as ubiquitous as Home Depot? Where do you think that started?
70s.
1920.
There you go. Very good. No, 1978, which is interesting because it became the name brand there, and I don't remember Home Depot in 1978, so it wasn't always.
It sounds 70s, to be completely honest.
Home Depot?
Yeah,
kind of. There's a lot more. I mean, I got a whole list of these things, but we don't have to go through them all. But it's just, my usual putting a list together here. It's pretty interesting when you start looking at some of it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. How many are on the list?
Oh gosh, I think I have 30 plus.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just fun. Just, start putting this together and looking at, the dates on this stuff. And it's just like, because some of it you go, you mean it's not older than that? And I don't know. Anyway.
I got an interesting story, and this is something I've heard of a little bit before, but this is the first time I've heard it this way. U.S. military is partnering with a startup to build 3D printed barracks in Texas. U.S. military is working with Icon to build the largest 3D printed buildings in the U.S. This 5,700 square foot structure will be used as a training barracks in Texas. The U.S. Department of Defense and Icon will print 3 structures which will serve as training barracks in Fort Bliss, Texas over the next 10 months. The structures will stand 5,700 square feet when complete, larger than any existing 3D printed building in Americas, according to this press release.
It's interesting. If it's anything like my 3D printer, it'd take me 15 years.
I actually watched a thing of a company that does their own 3D printing of buildings, and it's actually pretty cool. And it doesn't actually seem to take that long, Rob. They basically get everything in the thing, if they're doing concrete or whatever, and they basically just print it all out. They have a big ass machine that does it all. I mean, doesn't put the toilets and shit in there, but puts up the walls, does the foundation, walls, everything.
Right.
It's really cool.
Icon uses its large in-house Vulcan printer system and high-strength concrete known as Lavacrete to create its construction projects, which have included luxury homes, tiny homes, and what will soon be the largest neighborhood of 3D printed houses.
Did they talk about how long it takes to do this?
Not in this article.
Curious. There's nothing.
You might be able to find out how long it takes them to print a house, but I don't know.
It'd be interesting to know.
It says 10. It says 10 months for 3 structures. So I'm curious.
3 structures? 10 months? Wow.
So we'll serve as training barracks in Fort Bliss over the next 10 months. The structures will stand 5,700 square feet.
Gee, it sounds like my small little 900 square foot remodel here that's taken a year.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my God. Come on, guys. Anyway.
So I got a little bit of a list for you guys as well.
Sure.
So I'm just going to do 10 of them, but there's 29 of the worst foods in America.
But before
Got it. That sounds good.
Before you do that, I want to talk about our sponsor, Audacity. Audacity, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people. Go to ODDASSITY.com. That's ODDASSITY. Use the keyword MadTrio, all caps, all one word, for 10% your final order.
Where's your drop for this?
It's
Get your drop.
It's at the studio.
You're doing a lot. Oh, okay. We'll have to pull it off the studio because you're doing a live spot for Melanie's company. For Melanie and the company. Yes, play Audacity. We had a great experience with it when Melanie came to the studio, and I'm still red from that one.
Well, I never.
So, worst foods in America.
Worst foods.
Can you guys guess what is number 1?
Lutefisk.
I agree with that one. It's going to be pretty bad. Worst food. Now, is this a process? It could be any kind of food, right?
Any of the foods that are eaten in America.
So
is it like American cheese?
Is it origin America, or is it from other countries?
Origin America.
Started here.
Originally an American food.
American cheese.
Number 1. Rocky Mountain oysters.
That I could see. That sounds gross.
Not a particularly
number
good food.
2 is turducken.
Hey, that's turkey and duck. How could that be bad?
I don't know. I've never eaten it, but
I have.
What do you think of it, Rob?
I loved it. It's great. I mean, you get the duck, you get the turkey. What's the big? I mean, it's like
I don't know. I wouldn't think that would be the worst one either, but those are the
no.
two that they have on there.
Who made up this list? A bunch of vegetarians?
Actually, it's a food site.
Okay. Go
Uh,
ahead.
I'm not going to give them a free promotion. They have to
Yeah,
give me
don't do that.
$10,000. Scrapple. You guys heard of that one?
Scrapple?
Scrapple.
Yeah.
No.
What's in Scrapple?
So it's basically a meatloaf, but it's got pork scraps and cornmeal instead of breadcrumbs and
Got it.
beef.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be my favorite.
That sounds
Yeah,
gross.
I wouldn't be going for that one either.
No.
Pork scraps just doesn't sound very good. I mean, it sounds way too fatty. And
I don't want a
just
pig. I don't want a pig ass.
Sounds like something they fed soldiers in Korea.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, pickled pig's feet is on there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
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 I've seen that, and I've just I've never wanted to do it. Same with the chicken feet,
Yep.
things like that. I
Mhm.
have had goat's feet, but it was like more in like a stew,
Mhm.
and the hooves weren't included. It was just like the meat of it, and they cooked it as like a stew type thing.
Where Hawks and Beans is really good.
Yeah, but
But I don't want it
that,
pickled. This is gross.
yeah, I'm not. It's not gonna eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Spray cheese,
I'll agree with
the
that.
canned cheese. Yeah,
That's pretty weird stuff. Yeah.
I can't eat that stuff. I just can't do it.
So you can't have an original Philly cheesesteak, which I would agree.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm fine without that one. Olive loaf.
Yeah. Yeah. I want
I
that
don't
one too.
think I've ever had that.
It's basically like a loaf of meat with olives in there. Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a bunch of green olives that are some weird ones in each.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep.
And
Good.
this
Okay.
one, this one I almost kind of disagree with, but I've made it where it's really good, and then I've had it multiple times where it's just like could just go in the trash. Green bean casserole.
Oh yeah.
I like
Yeah.
green bean casserole. had
That
it,
done
yeah.
right can be good, but that is done wrong so often.
Oh, it is.
It's
Yeah,
Baptist
That's one of
food.
those. Isn't that one
Yeah.
of those? Everybody bring a dish, some kind of dish, and there was always somebody brought a green bean casserole, and sometimes they were good, and sometimes they were
If anybody's ever been to a Baptist church, you can guarantee that's going to be there, and probably different varieties. It's
So
Good list. Keep going.
now, Rob, have you ever heard of this one? Now, I hadn't heard of this one until probably a couple years ago.
Okay.
A coolickle.
A cool lickle. No.
is it
Can't
made
say
with
that.
Cool Whip?
Nope, not even close. So, John, are you guys ready to really be traumatized on this one?
Sure, why not?
They're pickles brined in Kool-Aid.
Oh.
Oh,
So
I remember
pickle
those.
brine, you warm it up, and you dissolve the Kool-Aid in it, and then you put the pickles in it.
Is it?
This
why?
was a thing for
It's
Hiccup.
one of those. What? Why? I mean, it was because you can. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
All right.
and I saw a guy who showed how to make them and everything, and I'm like, I hadn't heard of it before, and I came across a video of a guy making them, and I was like, what the hell? And they literally they'll get the color all the way through the pickle. So if you pick a blue one or a red one, after you brine it for a while, it literally gets that red or blue or whatever other color, purple, all the way through it. And he ate them, and he's like, they're not that bad. And I'm like, I think I'm just gonna keep on passing.
If I brought that home, my wife would murder me. I got in trouble once for bringing the wrong type of pickles home. That's just that's wrong.
Now this one, I will probably mispronounce the name, Akutak.
No.
And it's an ice cream from Alaska,
I figured by the name.
and it's traditionally done with seal oil or reindeer fat.
How special.
So yeah, it's an ice cream that they make with that, and I'm just kind of thinking, like, I guess I could see them coming out with something like that.
I wonder what they sweeten it with.
Yeah, I don't
Tears.
know. I just,
Tears. No,
yeah,
I don't. No, I
just like,
don't.
yeah.
Huh.
Oh, that
And
sounds
then the
gross.
last one I'll do is alligator tails.
So I've had that,
And what'd you
and
think of it?
it was kind of gamey. I mean, it wasn't my thing. I mean, I tried it because I wanted to try it. I've tried a lot of different things, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. Maybe it's in the preparation of it, but I can understand it not being great.
I would like to add something to the list as an honorable mention for the old guy.
Hmm.
Miracle Whip. It's the bastard mayonnaise.
So
The
that's
other one I always say is plastic cheese.
plastic cheese. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Kraft cheese.
Yeah. Kraft singles or American cheese type of. Surprisingly enough, can't say I'm gonna admit to this, but it still makes the best grilled cheese sandwich.
It does, but I would rather just stick cheddar in there and just call it good.
But
Yeah, I know.
And
that
cheddar's a good substitute for the Kraft singles,
It
and
is.
as far as I'm concerned, that's if I don't crave grilled cheese sandwiches, but if
Yeah.
I do, that's what I'm going to go with.
So for me, it's probably because I grew up with that. I mean, I don't.
I grew up with it
God
too,
bless
but-
my long dead
Yeah.
mother, but she was not a chef by any means, or even a cook. Let's just put it this way.
she chose Miracle Whip. That's obvious.
Yeah. I mean, it was always white bread and Miracle Whip and American cheese. So that was it.
I remember I was in a high school class, and it was a cooking class, and we had this project where they were like, oh, you can make whatever you want, and they broke us up into groups of 5 kids, and I remember somebody in my group just all of a sudden said, hey, let's just make some nachos, and I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking we'll get some ground beef, we'll get some cheese, some cheddar, some jack, whatever we can get our hands on. And he starts talking about Velveeta cheese and putting it in the microwave.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you consider nachos?
Hey,
I mean, we can pick that up at the cafeteria.
Yeah, exactly. Velveeta, good old Velveeta. Oh man, that was the other one.
That's something I've never really been into is Velveeta cheese at all. And I've had people that have used it around me, and I'm just like, that's just disgusting.
Yeah,
it makes interesting mac and cheese. I mean, that and Kraft, the Kraft cheese will survive atomic bombs.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was so that you could leave it out and never have to worry about it ever going bad.
Ever.
But
like if you
put
go
it
to
in our bodies, it's a
if
good
you
thing.
go to my dad's old house back when he was a kid, that box is probably still there and still edible.
Maybe buried in the wall somewhere as a time capsule, and they can probably still eat it.
So, I came across this article today, and I just am really baffled by the fact that I didn't hear about this one. And did you guys hear about a California canine officer from Stockton who emptied his magazine? In the article it says clip, and that just drives me nuts. His magazine at a grandmother, and then reloaded and emptied another magazine at her.
So what was the grandmother doing that forced him to do that?
So,
in theory,
I read the article, and it's really interesting what actually happened, and there's body cam footage of this. It says that the officer fired 30 times at this woman.
wow.
30 times.
How many times did she get hit?
What happened is she was driving, and it says that she grazed his vehicle. Okay, so she hit his vehicle. It doesn't say that it was on purpose, or that he hit her hard, or that she hit him hard, or anything. He let her drive off, lost sight of her, picked her up on a camera, on a traffic camera, and was told where her location was. He chased her down in his car, and then started shooting at her from his vehicle.
Ooh,
Says that she backed up from the initial stop from him shooting at her, and he unloaded another magazine at her vehicle as it was pulling away.
Where was this located?
Stockton.
Stockton. Because in some places you're not allowed to shoot out of a moving vehicle.
No, they are not in Stockton. They are not allowed to fire at a moving vehicle since 2019. It says, I think it was. They actually had that in here.
So was she? Did they say the person's race?
No, she's dead.
No, like was she black, white, Asian?
She was a black lady, and it doesn't say what his race is, but he kept on saying that that the vehicle is being driven by a black male, 50 years old. But yeah,
I don't even have anything to say to that.
I can't.
I mean, this guy. Yeah,
I could see, and depending on the circumstances and the fact, like how in danger he thought he was. If he let her go the first time, I'm not sure how much danger he would actually be in. But the fact he reloaded is my.
Anybody bothered to ask where all those rounds went?
That's the other point that I was going to bring up.
That's my problem.
Yeah,
that is my problem.
Because he's responsible for all those rounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If he kills
Absolutely.
somebody in the process, he's guilty of that because he didn't know, didn't understand his backstop.
So there was a major breakdown in training on this one.
I think he just got mad. I mean, he must have lost his mind and gotten mad.
He had to have lost his mind.
Does it mention the caliber?
No, I'm assuming
Well,
it's probably a 9mm.
Yeah, doesn't matter really. It's not.
Well,
germane to
just
the argument.
curiosity's sake.
Yeah, I understand, but it's just like, oh
So,
boy,
This does bring up an interesting question. One of the, excuse me, a lot of the Black Lives Matter people were talking about is having some sort of database with people who are police officers who were removed from the force for various reasons. And the question I have was this said police officer, is this his first posting as a law enforcement officer? Was he kicked off the force somewhere else? There's some history here, whether law enforcement or personal, that I think is also an issue here. Like, how did he get past it? Did the Stockton need police, so they just kind of greenlit him like Florida did back in the day?
yeah,
I guess.
So.
At first, when I first read the article, it didn't actually say where it was, initially, and I, just off the headline, I'm like, is this LA?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bummer. That's bad.
Yeah, I'm just like that, they're bringing in excessive force, and I'm thinking like that's seriously excessive force.
So
Yeah.
I got to try to find a
30 rounds.
story to follow that. So one of James's favorite movies is The Shining, and one of James's favorite actors is reportedly in talks to play Jack in the stage version of The Shining. Guess who it is?
William Shatner?
Ben Stiller.
Who?
Ben Stiller is reportedly up for
Ben.
playing the lead character from The Shining in a new stage version bound for London's West End. Variety has reported that the news that the Hollywood actor, director, and producer is bound for the new production based on the classic Stephen King novel. By the way, that would be a fun stage play to see. I would love to see that. Previously adapted for the screen from Stanley Kubrick in the 80s movie with Jack Nicholson in the lead role of Torrance.
Huh. All right.
I saw that. Like, that would be fun. I'd love to see a recording of that because I just can't see him playing such a serious role like that.
Ben Stiller, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that one kind of throws me for a second. I can't see him playing Ben. I can't see him pulling that one off.
Has he ever been in a serious movie role? I mean, I actually don't know.
Yeah, I believe so. I would have to look it up to even tell you the name. But yeah, I know he's done a few serious roles, but not very many. Not at all. I'm pulling it up now. I just yeah.
So I
I'm
got
kind of stuck right now, but yeah.
I got another thing that I just came across my screen that this is the first time I'm hearing about it is Resident Evil Netflix series release date revealed in key art. Set in the year 2036, 14 years after a deadly virus caused a global apocalypse, Jade Wesker fights for survival in a world overrun by bloodthirsty, infected, and insane creatures. I'm fascinated what a TV show version of this. The action horror drama will be available for streaming on Thursday, July 14th. I'm up for a version of this without Mila Jokovic. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Now, so I wonder if they're going to cover the whole thing.
That's a good question. It will reportedly be set between two timelines featuring the same protagonist. It stars John Wick star Lance Reddick as Albert Wesker, the villainous head of the Umbrella Corporation. The character was previously portrayed by Jason O'Mara and Sean Roberts in the Mila Jokovic-led live-action film by Tom Hopper. I don't know the game enough to actually tell you what that actually means. So it's an 8-episode series written and executively produced by Mary Lee Sutton, with Constantine Films' Robert Kultzer and Olive Barbin. It should be interesting, at least.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so ladies and gentlemen, I do want to tell you, if you're interested in the MadTrio podcast and what we say, check out our social media feeds. Also, check out on Facebook, Interesting SHT. It's Interesting 101 on Facebook. That is the depository for a lot of the stories we talk about on the show. So make sure you check that out. There should be a link on the MadTrio Show Facebook page, so you can check that out.
And the sound effects are courtesy of James's cell phone.
No, they're not. They're terrible John sound effects.
Oh, Lord have mercy. How funny.
Oh, hey, I don't know if we bring up the new Ghostbusters? Did we talk about that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
No, we haven't done
you mentioned it. Maybe we didn't really talk. I did. I finally watched it here just last week.
So I wanted to see, since we're closing the show off, what did you guys think?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It was a good way to tie in the other Ghostbusters with this one.
It, for me, it's cutesy. I mean, it's kind of, yeah. Well, it's better than the others, I think, other than going back to the originals. And the nod that it gave. Also, I don't want to give away things, but I thought that the ending part was pretty cool.
I thought it was a little too cutesy, but I actually thought it was the perfect insert for a new series. I love the beginning. Like, once I saw the beginning of it, that's what got me hooked. I'm like, oh. So I had to watch it after that. There's parts of it that really bug me, like the guy in the mine. They didn't explain that.
Well, they kind of did. I mean, you had to know the time. Well, anyway, I don't want to be a movie spoiler here if people still want to watch it. But
it's worth seeing, though. If you guys like the Ghostbusters, completely skip the one with all the ladies, just because it was just awful. Not the ladies, just everything else about the movie.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But this one it's a good family. If you're all right with showing your kids a Ghostbuster type of thing, but it's maybe early teens. I don't know. Tweens? Maybe. I don't know where to put the age. But it's I mean, I wouldn't show it to my grandson.
I saw Ghostbusters 2 when it came out in theaters. So, I mean, I think you could be in between 7 and 10 to see the movie without any major repercussions.
Possibly. But anyway, it's a family movie. I mean, the way it's done. So, yeah, absolutely. Considering all the stuff that's out there these days, it certainly is, pretty PG for the most part. Yeah,
and it's better than taking your kid to Cool World or Deadpool, which when I went to see in theaters, there was a little kid in that theater, and I kept wondering, man, I would have loved to hear the conversation at home with that movie.
That had to be a complete. I think we talked about this. That had to be a complete misunderstanding of what the parents were seeing.
100%, because you see Marvel movie, you don't expect it to be Deadpool, and you have to be kind of a comic book geek to know who Deadpool is.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of comic book characters, I tried to watch the Gray Ghost. Is that the new character?
No, you're talking about the Moon.
Yeah, Moon Knight. Yeah, Moon. Whatever. I'm sorry, I got it totally wrong. But I tried to watch it, and so.
I watched the first episode, and then I was like, "What is going on?" And then I watched the second episode, and I'm still thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think I'm on episode 3 now or 4, and it's starting to finally go somewhere.
Gel a bit.
So is it bad? Is X the movie, James?
No.
Okay. So I'm trying to gauge it here.
I mean, it was just. I think James is right. The episode 1 and 2 just like, what the heck? And I got into 3, and I'm going, all right, it's starting to make a little more sense, and it's like a lot like what is it, Venom? But I don't know.
Yeah,
so I'm not impressed.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it at all or not. It was just the first episode. I was ready to just throw the entire series away.
So what'd you think of the Halo movie? Because the new TV show. Because I've heard nothing but bad stuff about it. What's that?
I like the Halo show, but I think people that are flipping out about it are just stupid. Honestly.
Well, let's just put it this way. If you're not a gamer and you don't understand the game, I think you're going to have a bit of problems with at least the first episode. I know I did, because I knew the game and I knew what it was about, but not being a gamer of that game, it was all right. I get it. I understand where it's going. So I'm hoping that as we get into episode 3 or 4, whatever, it'll improve a little bit. But really, come on, let's admit it. The acting was terrible, and the special effects were terrible, and everything was terrible.
The main complaint I read about it, because I haven't seen it yet, is everybody says they made Master Chief a wussy.
No, not really.
I haven't seen it. I want to see it because I love Halo. But
no, I disagree. I don't know how bad you want to make Master Chief. I mean, he's pretty bad.
So basically, to give a quick description of the character Master Chief, did you ever see you saw Soldier with Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah.
Basic same thing. He was a child who was kidnapped and raised as a soldier, and he had modifications done to his body to make him a super soldier. And so basically he's a guy who's not super well adjusted, but he's a super soldier. He's really good at his job, not really good around people, but he's super military, like he follows orders and etc. And that was one of the complaints I heard, was the fact that they're kind of giving Master Chief feelings, because the game doesn't really delve into that, minus the fact he's in love with Cortana.
I could see where they get that, but I think it's nitpicking.
I was hoping so, because I want to see it. I saw clips of I've seen some clips, and the clips I've seen were like either super edited or just like they were leading up to something. Like it was talking about Master Chief having anxiety, and I'm like, I don't know if I.
Well, see, there's more to it than that.
I thought so.
As you get into it, again, I don't want to give things away, but it has to do with past memories that have been repressed. Let's just put it that way.
Well, it's not necessarily past memories that have been repressed. It's past memories that have been erased.
Well,
the
same difference, but
that are being brought into being brought back type thing. So that's the scary.
Well, so
anyways,
ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up to the end of the episode. Does anybody have anything to say before we end this?
So silence will be golden. In this case, we will wait for another week of interesting stuff to bring everybody. I'm done.
That's a bingo.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the California Pariah, the Fat Man, and the Old Guy, as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.